Peace and blessings. Happy Monday. Welcome back to your Monday message. It is great to be here with you. I am your host with your weekly dose of something inspirational. My name is Dharma Shakti, and it is wonderful to be here with you, Life Warrior, my fellow Earth Walker and Life Warrior. I am so glad that you landed on this page and you are taking a moment to check out some of my videos, because these videos are here to serve you as you are living your life, fighting that good fight to be your best self. So I like to put these videos out and share some inspirational things with you that have helped me along the way. And one that I'm going to share with you today is something that I have been sharing in my yoga classes the last couple of weeks, and I've been wanting to capture it in video form for you. Let me lay out this quote for you today and then unpack it a bit. So listen close. I want you to really perk up your ears here, and if you have a pen and paper to write this down, this is one of those one-liners that you can write down and carry with you. Something that I want you to, figuratively keep in your back pocket and ask yourself often, because I think it'll really help you stay in check with your intentions. So much of our yoga practice is about becoming deeply and acutely aware of what is motivating us and what our intentions are, and learning to have good intentions, and not only that, but also to just be really intentional, which means that we are aware of why we're doing what we're doing, and we're actually purposefully and consciously choosing to step into what we're doing from a place of knowing. And so, with that being said, I want you to ask yourself, when you're on your mat, especially, you can start there if you are a yoga practitioner, to just start asking yourself, am I doing this to prove myself, or am I doing this to improve myself? I think that this is a question that it just sounds so simple, but it is so profound, because it is going to help us really check ourselves. Am I doing this yoga pose? Am I making this post for my Instagram? Am I launching this project? Am I, gonna go do that hobby? Am I gonna chase that degree in school? Am I gonna open this business? Am I going to get married? Am I gonna do whatever it is that I'm doing? Am I doing it to prove myself, or am I doing it to improve myself? And the answer that is the healthiest one for us is, I'm doing this to improve myself. And I truly believe that when we are doing something to improve ourselves, the way we show up to that thing looks very different and yields completely different results than when we are doing something to prove ourselves. And you can really see this on your yoga mat as you practice. And if you can get good at seeing it on your mat, when you're practicing on your mat, if you get good at seeing it there, that means that you're cultivating the ability to get good at seeing it elsewhere, in all the other places in your life, because that's where it really counts. That's when you start to make big changes in your life, is when you take your practice off your mat and out into the world and into your everyday life. However, learning to cultivate these skills on the yoga mat is what allows us to bring them out into the rest of our life. So just checking in when you show up to that next yoga class, when you go out to the studio, or you go to practice yoga on the bluff, or wherever it is that you're practicing yoga, really noticing, am I doing this? And am I doing it the way that I'm doing it? To prove myself or to improve myself? And I think it's so interesting, because you'll know. If you're being really honest with yourself, you'll know. I'm doing this way because I want to be seen. I want to be noticed, because what I want is that external validation. And so therefore, I am doing this to prove myself. And really, those things that we pursue, whether it is your yoga practice, or it is a workout routine at the gym, whether it is that career that you want to launch, whether it is that project that you want to get out into the world, whether it's that goal or that dream or that aspiration of whatever it is, the perfect marriage, the house that you want to buy. A lot of us are chasing these things in life because we are trying to prove ourselves. Who you're trying to prove yourself to, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's your parents, sometimes you're trying to prove yourself to yourself, sometimes you're trying to prove yourself to your ex, Sometimes you're trying to prove yourself to society. But this chase to prove ourselves is a fruitless chase. It won't have longevity, and I'm telling you, it won't be fulfilling. But if you can have the chase of improving yourself, doing the things that help you feel better so that you can do the things of making better choices so that you can just be a better person. As I like to say, feel better, do better, be better. When you feel better, you do better throughout the day, you make better choices. And when you're doing better, you step into that place of, I am just being my better self. And you deserve that. And you're not going to get that by trying to prove yourself. You are only going to get that when you are doing things to improve yourself. So I want you to just take some time today and really ponder things that you are working towards. Look at your goals. Look at the activities that you have planned for yourself. And especially for my friends out there who are healing practitioners. You are practitioners within the healing arts, whether you are a medicine worker of some kind, or you are somebody who's giving workshops and talks and classes on things. You're an educator of some sort. You're putting yourself out there in the world because you want to serve others. If you are in any field of work that involves that you are saying you're doing what you do because you want to serve others, especially you, I want you to check yourself and ask deeply, am I doing this to prove myself? Or am I serving others because it does improve myself? Am I serving others because it's going to improve my life and it's going to improve their life? Or am I serving others because I'm trying to prove to myself and to others what a great person I am because I'm serving others and I have this knowledge and I'm sharing it? And I say this because I happen to be in that industry and I see a lot of people who are doing things because they're trying to prove themselves. And it doesn't mean that it's all inherently all coming from ego, but if that is in there and it is a motivating factor, is I really am doing this to prove myself, it's going to spoil everything that you're doing. And so I want you to just start to uproot it. And it can be like one of those weeds in the garden where, you pull the weeds and you think you got the plant, and a few weeks down the road, you're like, oh, there's more growth. Let me pull that out again. I thought I got that weed. It may be one that takes you a while to get at the root of it, which is why I make these videos so that you can do the regular, consistent work on yourself of uprooting those weeds that don't need to be in your life, that don't serve you in your life. When that ego is tripping you up a little bit and you're doing the thing to prove yourself because you're seeking external validation, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just from the one person. And I can see it also not because I've been doing this for so long, but because I was that person. I still have to check myself in things that I'm doing. Am I doing this to prove myself? Because if I am, I need to really rethink and reorient what I'm doing, because that's not going to serve me. It's not a good motivating factor. That's a motivating factor that's full of ego, that's just going to cause a lot of chaos and mess and ultimately lead to disappointment. But if I am doing something to improve myself, that's a worthy endeavor. That's a good seed. That is gonna yield really beautiful fruit. You don't need to know what kind of fruit it's gonna yield, just know that it's gonna yield good fruit. As you pursue that endeavor, you pursue that thing, you pursue that desire, that goal, that dream, that vision, that mission, whatever it is, that relationship. Am I doing this to improve myself, or am I doing this to prove myself? It's such an important question to ask, because it will determine the results of what you're experiencing in life and how you're moving through life and what comes at you. And it will also determine the expectations that you have. And if you have expectations of doing things because you are looking for external validation, I promise you, you're going to be disappointed time and time and time again. You're going to be let down time and time and time again. It doesn't mean that you'll never get external validation or that all external validation is bad. What this means is if we're doing things to prove ourselves to others, that is going to be a bad experience ultimately. So asking yourself again, am I doing this to prove myself? Or am I doing this to improve myself? And at bare minimum, I hope that you bring this into your yoga practice every time you roll out your mat and you do your yoga practice. Every time you go to the gym, right? Every time you're posting that post about your juice fast that you're doing, whatever it is, am I doing this to improve myself? You can share with the world what you're doing. It's okay to share and want to inspire others. It's a beautiful thing that I think is important and necessary for the world that we live in. But what's motivating you to do it? Are you doing it to prove yourself, or are you doing it to improve yourself? I hope that you sit with this self-reflective question and that you are radically honest with yourself. No one is gonna grade your paper, so to speak. This is just for you to sit with so that you can be better intentioned with what you're doing, so that you can have better outcomes and better results that are more heart fulfilling and less ego fooling. Okay, so take some time, reflect on this, whatever it is you're pursuing, but for sure bring this into your yoga practice. Okay, just a little extra side note, if you are doing your yoga practice to prove yourself to others, eventually you will have some kind of injury that won't allow you to impress others. Because yoga practice is not about proving yourself to anybody. Your yoga practice is about improving yourself so that you can find that validation and that fulfillment and that love and that peace and that joy and that happiness that you're seeking, that you cultivate it and find it within yourself first and foremost. You're not doing it so that you can get that poured into you. You're doing it to open up to access what is already in there. So you don't need to prove yourself on the yoga mat. It will only lead to hurt and injury, I guarantee you. So every time you roll out your mat, every time you set out a goal, every time you are pursuing something that your heart is calling you to do, because the ego has a sneaky way of just infusing itself into everything that we're doing. This is a great question to ask yourself again and again and again and again at every level and every stage of the process. Because as you grow and you get better, you might not have started out to prove yourself. You may have started out just to improve yourself, but you hit that next level. Again, check in. Okay, next level, I'm up leveling. Am I still doing this to improve myself? The answer should be yes. Okay? So I hope that you have found this helpful and insightful, and I hope that it gets you self-reflecting in a way that improves your life. Not in a way where you're judging yourself and you're berating yourself and you're being hard on yourself. These are insightful videos to help you improve the way that you are living your life, improve the way that you're showing up to what you're doing, and loving yourself all along the way. So if you realize today that you were doing something to prove yourself, have a little grace. Have some grace. We all have an ego, and we all got to figure out how to keep it in check. It's important, okay? So don't be so hard on yourself. Just be honest with yourself and move forward in the direction that you know is good for you and gonna serve you. All right, my friends, my beautiful, beautiful life warriors, I am so proud of you for fighting that good fight to be your best self. Thank you so much for tapping in and tuning in and watching this video with me. Please drop me a like in that like button down below. Maybe it's over there, wherever it is. And drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts about this inspirational quote for this week. And I will see you next Monday. Have a beautiful week. And I hope that you do a lot of things to improve yourself this week, because you deserve it and you're worth the effort. From my heart to yours, so much love from me to you. Namaste.